So today I want to talk about like all the times that I've gotten in trouble, in big trouble, not like, oh, you took a cookie from the cookie jar. No, I'm talking about big troubles, like you stole that lamp, except I've never stolen anything. Well, anyway, first up, I've three big occasions that I want to try and get through in this video, because last time I realized how slowly I talk about things. So I prepared this time and only came up with three things to talk about. So yeah, three big occasions. The first one was in 5th grade. I guess there was some before 5th grade, but since I don't think I'll have time, I'll talk about them some other time. So anyway, first one for this video, 5th grade. I sent Gmails, specifically Gmails, not emails, to a bunch of the people I knew, and it was just a bunch of GIFs or images of stuff, and most people didn't really mind it. They were just like, whatever. But apparently there's this one girl, don't remember her name, but I probably wouldn't have said it anyway, because you'll find out. He was like, hey, stop. And I thought she was talking, like, she was saying stop in, like, a joking way, because one of my other friends did that. But, I wasn't her friend. I just knew her. So, anyway, yeah. So, like, a week after she said, like, hey, stop sending me this, I get called to the principal's office, and I was really confused, because I had no idea what I had done. And so I go to the principal's office. I was like, maybe it's something good. Maybe it's something good. I don't know. You never know. It was not something good. The principal's like, alright, so I have it on good authority that you've been sending unwanted emails to a certain lady. And it was really stupid. I was like, oh, this is what this is for? Really? It was so stupid. Yeah, and he's like, alright, so you gotta stop sending these emails. Alright? And I'm like, oh, okay then, alright. And he's like, okay, you also got to apologize to the madame over here, to her name. And so, I had to also apologize to her. So yeah, I got in trouble for that. It was nothing more than a principal going to the principal's office, no detention or ISS or anything like that. But so yeah, the next day I go through my day, and at the end of the day, the principal goes up to me, he comes up to me. Because he was out by the bus stop where I was waiting for the bus. The bus was already there, because we had the early buses. Anyway, so he comes up to me and he's like, hey, did you apologize? And I'm like, no. I don't know why I said no. I don't know why I just said yes, because he wouldn't have asked for proof or anything, because why would he? I just said no, and he's like, oh, you gotta do it tomorrow then. And I'm like, why didn't I just lie? It would have been so much easier, and there's no reason not to. It would have been so easy to get away with that lie, and I just didn't. Wow, it was pretty awful. My parents are watching The Mandalorian in the other room. I hope you can't hear it. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, principal's office. Yeah, so that's the first big occasion. It took me about 4 minutes to talk about that. Anyway, so second big occasion. I'm going in order by date. So this is 6th grade. No, 7th grade. My bad. 7th grade. Was it even 7th grade? No, it was 8th grade. Oh, that was last year. Oh my gosh, my bad. Anyway, so 8th grade, it was lunchtime, and I was sitting with some peeps, and then one of the peeps, I won't say their name, I do remember their name this time though, and they grabbed my lunchbox, and they started like tossing it to the other person and tossing it back, playing monkey in the middle with my lunchbox. It was real mean. Anyway, and so I didn't really care all that much. I mean, sure, it was irritating, but like it wasn't as bad as I made it out to seem, as you'll find out in a minute. So I thought it would be funny if I overdid my anger by picking up a chair and slamming it on the ground. Here, pro tip, don't do that. It makes a lot louder sound than you might think. So everyone in like around me was like, "What are you doing?" And then the teacher comes up, and I make things 10 times worse by running away instead of confronting her and being like, "Yep, I did that." I just ran away. It was so like I don't know why I did that. And I ran away. I ran away. Anyway, so she catches up with me and is like, "Why are you running away, you idiot? You're going to the principal's office." So I went to the principal's office. What do you know? And the principal. Alright, so I hadn't gotten in trouble at all in the entirety of junior high, because this was junior high. And so the principal's like, "Hey, were you on drugs?" Not even joking. He was like, "Were you on something?" And I'm like, "No. No, dude. I'm good. I'm clean." Yeah, and so, you know, I got ISS for the rest of the day, which was just half of the day since it was lunch. And also there was something else. I don't remember, what am I thinking of? There was something else about the principal's office visit. Oh, yeah. The principal was also like, "Hey, do you have family problems?" I'm like, "No. How does this even relate?" Anyway, I got ISSS, which is a fun experience, which I will talk about now. ISS. So, ISS. Never had ISS before, still haven't gotten it again, although this was last year, so there's still plenty of time. So I went in ISS. At first it was... No, I walked in. Hold on. So I walked into the room, and the lady in there, the ISS room. I don't know if I said that. ISS room. Yeah, I was going to ISS. I walked in the ISS room. Lady in there was like, "Hey, what are you doing here, boy?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm here for ISS." And he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Hi, I'm Marcus." And she's like, "Don't talk to me like that. Don't ever speak to me like that." And I'm like, "Holy cow. I'm just gonna go sit down over here." "No, you're gonna sit there." It was a little condescending, I suppose. It was a little, yeah. So I sat down. She was all right. She had it was a bad first impression, but she was all right. She was fine. I guess she didn't. I don't really know what she thought I was trying to do. But you know, but with the story I'm about to tell, maybe she was just she's seen a lot. Yeah, she'd probably have seen a lot worse than what you're about to hear. So she was probably just like expecting the worst. I don't know. So yeah, so I was doing ISS where you just kind of do work from school. I was working on some geography thing. I don't remember. And there's this kid in there who was just whining the entire time, irritating, bothering. Sometimes a little funny because the teacher would talk back to him. It was just she was like, "Shut up." It was funny. Anyway, so yeah, there was a point where the guy, he was like, "F you, dude, middle finger." And then he pointed the middle. He didn't say middle finger. He pointed the middle finger at her and ran out of the freaking room. And I was just sitting there stunned. I was like, "What the frick happened?" And the teacher was just like, I don't remember even what she did. I was just so stunned. She was just like, she called someone, and then later they came back. He came back with the police officer. It was so weird. That was the most wild experience ever. Side note, 8th grade was the best year of my life. Although that was last year, so there's still plenty of years left for me to be the best. But ISS was wacky. It was wacky. There wasn't really anything interesting after that. Although there was one specific like back talk that the teacher did that I thought was especially funny. I can't think of it right now. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, that was my ISS experience. Wacky. I wouldn't mind to do it again, honestly. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as you might think if you've never had ISS before, I suppose. Oh yeah, by the way, I did end up getting my lunchbox, and the guy never bothered me again. In fact, we're now friends. So that's pretty nice. Okay, before I get to the third big in trouble thing, I want to talk about in 5th grade. I know the first time I said I got in the principal's office was in 5th grade. That was actually 6th grade, and I remember this because I was thinking last year whenever I got the ISS that, like, you know, every other year I seem to be in big trouble, some sort of big trouble, because, you know, I had 6th grade I was in big trouble, no big trouble 7th, and then 8th grade I'm in big trouble, and then in this one it was like 4th. Nope, 5th. It was 5th. This one is 5th grade. So, real quick, I'm going to talk about this one real quick. 5th grade. So I had this guy. Won't say his name because, well, you know, this was like, okay. So, you know, last thing I talked about where I threw a chair out of mock anger, I threw a chair in real anger at this guy. I'll get to that later, though. So, first let me explain why I did that, to justify my reasons, which, you know, you still shouldn't throw chairs. It's not a very smooth way of resolving issues. Although it did work. He's never bullied me again. So, yeah, yeah, he was bullying me. So, every day, we had the same homeroom and, like, 3 of the same classes. It was awful. So every day, I don't really know why he did this, but like every day he'd do like small little stuff that really bothered the heck out of me. He would like, we had those hook things that you put your backpack on in the back of the room. He would unhook my thing and throw it on the floor. He'd unzip my backpack. He'd take my pencils. It was small stuff like that. Nothing big, like pushing me over or anything. But it still bothered the heck out of me, and it was so agitating. I'd asked him to stop a couple times. It didn't work. Still kept doing it. Yeah, he did some small little stuff like that all throughout the year, and it was the last day of, not the last day of the year, but it was close to the end of the year, and like he did, I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like one of those times where he threw my backpack on the floor. And that was just like the straw on the camel's back or whatever. That broke me. I freaking raged at that. I grabbed a chair and I started beating him up with it. I just smacked on his head with that chair over and over until he started crying. And then I realized, maybe this isn't a good idea. You know, he started crying and ran over to the corner of the room. It's like out of probably fear, I'd assume. And afterward I felt real bad. I'm like, oh crap. Oh shoot, what have I done? It was scary. And then the weirdest thing about it is that the teacher didn't do anything. She watched it happen. Nothing. She didn't do anything. Yikes. What a teacher. It was a substitute though, so that could have had something to do with it, but that substitute did not care, I suppose. Although it was one of those substitutes that was covering for the teacher because she was pregnant. The teacher was pregnant and just had a baby, so she was off for 2 months. And like I think that day was her last day, too. So maybe she just was like, I don't really need to deal with this, man. It's my last day. So, anyway, yeah. So that's how I beat up someone and did not get in trouble, which is to me worse than throwing a chair. Then, you know, and I got in trouble for throwing a chair, but I didn't get in trouble for beating somebody up with a chair. Anyway, rant aside, let me actually get to the third big thing, which is just happened 2 weeks ago, where I got detention. Spooky. And it was for something that I didn't do, but, well, I'll explain. So PE, right? We were in PE. The teacher at the beginning of the day, he calls attendance or whatever. He's like, all right, cool. Then we walk around the gym for the entire class period because gym sucks. PE is the worst. And yeah, at the end, towards the end of the class, he starts calling roll call again. And I remember this now because like at the time I wasn't. Yeah, I'll just explain it. I won't. Okay. So yeah, he started calling roll. Right, again, and it was a little confusing. It was like, all right, whatever. So he gets to my name, and I call out I'm like, here, and then he calls it out again, like he didn't hear me, so I said, here again, and he didn't say my name again, so I assumed he got it, but, you know, now that the event's already happened, I realized he did not actually catch my name, and thought I just left class early, so, I got detention for that, because the next day, because that was my last class period, so yeah, the next day, I get called to the principal's office again, and again, actually no, it wasn't the principal's office, it was the dean's office. Which, side note, did anyone else think that the dean was like the name of the principal, not like a profession or whatever, an occupation? Because that's what I thought. Anyway, so I get called to the dean's office, and I was really confused because I had no idea what I did. I was like, oh, maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. Sensing a pattern here. Anyway, yeah, so I get into the principal's office. I settle up to, there's another guy in there, and he's like, oh man, what are you in here for? And I'm like, I have no clue. What are you in here for? And then he's like, oh, I skipped class in PE. And I'm like, wait. I started, like, the gears started turning in my head, and I'm like, wait a minute. So then the dean calls me in, and she's like, all right, so you skipped PE class, so you're gonna have 3 detentions for that. And I'm like, I like it was like it was the gears were turning in my head, and it was like, oh, he didn't stop saying my name because he got me. He stopped saying my name because he didn't think he got me. Ooh. And so, like, I was thinking in my head if I should tell her that, no, I didn't skip class, but then I thought about it, and it's like, what would I have told her? Hey, no, I didn't skip class. Believe me. You know, the guy who's in trouble right now, believe me. Who's she's gonna believe? Me, the guy who's in trouble, or the PE teacher that's worked here for years? Obviously not me. So I decided, yeah, what's the point? So I just took the 3 detentions. It wasn't that bad, honestly. It was a little tough. It was a little rough, excuse me, to not sit with my friends at lunch, because there's 3 detention times. One before class, before school, which I can't take because I have 0 hour, which is, anyway. I won't explain that because yeah. And then the other one's after school, and I'm not gonna tell my parents when I've gotten detention for no reason. So the only other time is at lunch. So I took lunch detention. Anyway, so I couldn't sit with my friends at lunch. So anyway, yeah. I take the 3 detentions. I got a lot of work done, actually. Detention is basically just a shorter version of ISS, as I learned. I got a lot of work done. I wouldn't mind doing it again. As with ISS, it doesn't really bother me, I guess. It's fine. It's not really that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. Again, you might be sensing, or you might be feeling some deja vu, because yeah, I had a really similar experience with ISS, except there's no kid that walked out and cursed the teacher. So that was nice. So yeah, those are my experiences with being in big trouble. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. With a bonus one in there, actually. It was my 3 occasions with a bonus one. Yeah, that's all I really want to talk about right now. And what do you know? It's actually almost out of time for those 3, kind of 4 things. Wow. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Oh, show up the tally for how many levels we've gotten, or about to get, because I don't know. That's a good one. That's good. We got pretty far there. And so that's all I want to talk about today. So I will see you next time. Bye.